You want to see how to go on Fox News and turn around their failed narratives? Well, we know someone who did it. Our friend, Greg Casar, the Democratic congressman from Texas. He went on Fox News and demonstrated how Democrats can effectively message there. Let's check out a few short clips and talk about that.
People may not know, Elon Musk makes $8 million a day from the federal government. Why are they looking at cutting Medicaid, which serves single moms, people with disabilities, or Social Security, instead of looking at the billions of dollars from the corporate class? It's because those corporations fund those Republican campaigns. I think that what's important for folks to know at home, again, even if you may disagree with me on this social issue or that one, is that every Republican member of Congress right now is looking to cut Medicaid.
To be clear,
over
though,
70% of Republican voters are opposed to Medicaid cuts, but the senator from Nebraska, North Dakota, you just had on, is talking about passing a bill next week to slash Medicaid by over $800 million. I mean, how is that right? How is that representing the working class person in rural America? I don't get it.
This is exactly what Jamie Raskin and I talked about last week, which is the idea that they have nothing for you. Everything they're doing is either irrelevant to you, it helps someone and it doesn't help you, or it's actively bad for you. Greg Casar is on message. John Ossoff was on message this weekend. We talked about that on yesterday's show. Here's another one.
Against money being taken away from their taxpayer pockets and being handed out in federal contracts. So we should be having the conversation about how is it that Elon Musk, who makes $8 million a day from federal contracts, says...
Okay, so there's actually overlap here. This is not the right clip I meant to play, but we are going to persevere and continue.
You should be paying taxes to improve your life, not to make some billionaire buy their 10th jet.
To be fair, I don't think many of your Republican colleagues have any interest in touching Social Security, but I want to keep moving on here. Your colleague Ro Khanna...
But to be fair, President Trump and Elon Musk just announced that they are closing Social Security offices and going to ask seniors and people with disabilities to go check in person at Social Security offices that they've closed. And in rural areas or really suburban areas, that may be really hard to do. And then they'll call those Social Security recipients, quote, fraudsters, and cut off their benefits. That's what they've announced. And Commerce Secretary, who's a billionaire himself, just said on television, oh, if my grandma misses a Social Security check, I think he said my mother-in-law misses a Social Security check, she won't complain. Well,
but you're on the DOGE subcommittee, though, right?
Yes, he's on the DOGE subcommittee. That is absolutely true. And you can see the Fox host there scrambling for purchase as his talking points are decimated by Greg Casar. Here's one more. Let's look at one more and then discuss.
Look, I'm the chairman of the Progressive Caucus in Congress. I recognize some of the viewers at home disagree with me on a variety of social issues, but I think we can agree that Republican members of Congress have no business going along with Elon Musk slashing Social Security, destroying Medicaid and Medicare, firing veterans, all to give out tax breaks to billionaires. That's the message that Bernie Sanders has been consistent about. And I believe that should be the new message of the Democratic Party, which I think could bring some conservatives back into the Democratic Party if we agree that these programs we all pay for since literally World War II, Social Security, should be expanded and protected, not ransacked by billionaires that want more money for themselves. You should work to be able to keep your money, not to make Elon Musk richer. You should be paying taxes to improve your life, not to make some billionaire buy their 10th jet.
This is really good stuff, and I apologize that some of those clips had a little bit of overlap here and there. What is great about this is that it is simply telling people this stuff's not good for you. And there's a long history in this country of people voting against their own best interests. We talked about this ad nauseum in 2010 when it was the Tea Party saying we're going to cut taxes for the rich, and poor and lower middle income people who were never going to be rich statistically were voting for it, thinking either it'll someday trickle down to me, or the rich people have earned the lower taxes, or whatever the case may be. Greg Casar is absolutely spot on here. And I don't want to pretend like, oh, we've solved the problem here. But what I've seen over the last 5 days from Greg Casar on Fox, AOC and Bernie in person, John Ossoff at his rally in Georgia, Jamie Raskin on this show, there are people here whose messaging and whose language is now departing dramatically from old guard folks like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, not attacking them, but simply saying it's a different sort of Democrat. This is much better. And I would argue it's much better than the way Kamala Harris campaigned with unclear, well, we're going to do a $5,000 refundable tax credit if you start a business. They're offering you nothing. They are simply the equivalent of robber barons. It's take for themselves. You're going to get screwed. Grandma's going to get screwed. This isn't a platform yet, but I'm starting to see the rumblings of what could be a very good direction for Democratic messaging. I'm going to be meeting with some folks about some of this stuff soon as well, and we'll be providing my 2 cents as just someone in media, not a Democratic strategist of any kind. And I think that there is something here that is a seed that can be planted. And now we've got to see if it grows into something. Really nice job there by Greg Casar, and we should really have him back on the show soon. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.